All right, hello and welcome to the 13th edition of the Two Black and Two Nerdy podcast. I'm your host, Chris.
And I'm your other host, Chris.
And today we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff, some TV shows, some movies. So I think we're going to start off with a quick, it doesn't even have to be an Arrowverse wrap-up. We're just doing a DC TV wrap-up really quick before we get into movies. So, first thing, you want to just start... Well, did you watch Flash still?
Yeah, I watched Flash.
We didn't talk about Legends either.
Yeah, we also got to talk about Black Lightning because that all ended in between this last podcast. And
Did it?
Yeah.
Did it? Did we not?
Yeah, we haven't.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. All right, we had a lot. All right, so we're going to start with Black Lightning. It was a good first season.
Mm-hmm.
Consistent throughout. They did some interesting things with the villains. Like, they make you think, like, Tobias is kind of a lower-level villain, and he's the one who kind of ends up on top at the end.
Right.
And the agency, the evil agency, is pretty much destroyed.
I'm glad that they didn't give Tobias the cottonmouth treatment.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't kill him, because I do like Tobias, and I mean, I feel like he's decently unique, you know, and his henchmen, they are from the comics, like the girl is Cyanide, and the evil boyfriend is a Painkiller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although they could do a better job choreographing their fight scene, because that one was just sort of like, I was much more interested in Thunder and Cyanide's fight. That was a better fight to me than Tobias and
Black Lightning.
Because at that point, like, Black Lightning really wasn't really a challenge.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
The first time or the second time.
Yeah, well, it's so weird that Tobias is the main villain, but him and Black Lightning really only interacted twice.
Right.
You know? And both were like curb stomps.
Yeah.
One way or the other. So, I mean... Yeah, I mean, so I do think their fight choreography could be a little bit better. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I hope they improve. His daughter, I'm assuming Lightning is going to get her own costume next season. Yeah. But I appreciate them doing a slow burn, you know. I'm curious to see if they're going to bring in new characters or what they're kind of going to do for season 2, since we've kind of done a lot of the initial origin story stuff. Everybody knows everybody's secret identity, you know. Yeah, your good guy team, your bad guy team.
Right, and then you have Jennifer, who in, a year will be going to college, so it's just like, you gotta play that over well, because you said that, Anissa's in medical school, that's the only reason why she's back. She's gotta graduate at some point.
Well, I mean, if they keep her on the show, they would have her go to a local college.
Right.
Probably. That's what they do, like, on sitcoms and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Because I don't see any of them leaving the show. I mean, Gamby maybe, but he's got like a place now. Mm-hmm. He's had his whole redemption arc. He got beat up, so we feel bad for him. So
I don't really feel all that bad for him. He did what he had to do.
Yeah.
He was trying to protect people. He was wrong, but I don't see he necessarily had to be redeemed. Mm-hmm. Unless people were like, he shouldn't be killing people. It was just like, it's the real world. It happens.
Yeah.
He's a
he is a killer. No, I couldn't. What was the?
He was a former Black Ops guy. Like,
no, the worst was when he poisoned the guy with the Black Mamba venom.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
It was just like, all right, don't mess with Gamby.
I'm like, Jesus Christ.
No kid.
Yeah, no, he's crazy. But, yeah, overall, I really don't have that many complaints. Mm-mm. It's different enough from Luke Cage, so if people compare the two, I get annoyed.
Yeah.
Because even, like, the whole, 100 gang storyline, they drop a lot of that in the second half. Mm-hmm. And they're mostly dealing with the ASA. Yeah. So...
Because it's like, there's bigger fish to fry.
Yeah. It's a different, it's just, I don't know, it's a different show. Lala's a tattooed man.
Yeah, they need to explain that.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's not dead.
Right. The TV trope.
You don't see no body, no death.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unless you killed them officially 2 seasons later in CIS. Not bitter about that at all. Alright, Legends.
Legends had a good season. Probably not as good as season 2, but better than season 1.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the ride.
I'm looking forward to next season with Constantine.
The Bebo Malice fight was it was... Like, the thing is that Legends, if you accept the fact that Legends is a comedy and it's going to do it at once, I think it's fine. Some people thought the Bebo fight was too goofy, but I was fine with it.
Yeah, I was just like, he was like, sorry, man, that's all I could think of. I'm like, oh, man, that's what I'm thinking of too. I'm like, what?
What?
And he's like, Bebo.
It was a good joke.
Like, yes.
I did a cut of the Bebo fight with the Ultra Instinct theme from Dragon Ball Z and put on Reddit. Didn't get as much attention as I thought it would, but it's fine. I'm not bitter at all.
But see, that was a joke that ran throughout the whole thing, and it worked well.
Well, I will appreciate about that finale is that they brought back all the side characters and all the things they had built up over the course of the season. So, like, Helen of Troy came back and she was an Amazon.
Right.
You had, like, the Vikings and the pirates and stuff. Like, it felt earned. Like, okay, now all those episodes, it felt a little fillery.
Yeah.
Because Legends can feel fillery sometimes. Now it's like, well, okay, that mattered. At least somewhat. Wally had more to do.
Right.
They need another one Flash.
I still don't really see how he fits on the Legends as a speedster because he is more powerful than everybody else on the team.
Well, the problem is that he's broken
Constantine.
pretty much. I mean, next season, I guess they're doing more mystical stuff. So, I mean, that would be a way to trip up, you know. I'm sure you could find a way to trip up Wally that way.
Yeah, but he still should be. And that's the thing with both him and Barry is they'll run, they'll punch somebody, knock them down, but they won't knock them out, and so they'll just be like, yeah, we did, and then the person gets back up, and it's just like, just knock them out, just punch them one more time. Put a touch on them, something. But then the episode would be over.
Pretty much. I guess, so Vixen left at the end of the season.
Right.
But I heard that the actress is still going to be on the show, and she's going to play a different character, so I have no idea what they're doing.
Don't do that.
I don't know.
Because that's the same thing we're about to get next season with the new Wells.
Yeah, they're adding in Constantine next season.
So I'm excited. I am not excited for more Gary if he comes. I want less Gary.
You're not a fan of Gary?
No. I'm fine of Gary in doses. But if he's palling along with Constantine...
Yeah. Didn't they make out? Did that happen?
He just kissed.
He just kissed him?
Yeah, he just kissed him. Just like... And it could have been anything from... Like, well, yeah, Constantine's bisexual, or at least in the comics he is, and I know they were talking about, like, they were going to explore that more in the show, and you heard it in some of his dialogue, but that could have been an easily from, like, oh, just the thing you kiss because Constantine's British, and in Europe that happens from time to time, so, or it could have been just like, oh, I think you kissed, but I also find you attractive, and Gary got a little excited from the kiss. You could see it on his face. It was hilarious. Yeah,
Gary did. Yeah, no, I have a soft spot for Gary.
But that was my question. Remember at the very beginning of Legends, Sarah said she slept with someone in a time bureau, and then she instantly recognized Gary.
Yeah.
And then that just never
like, did she sleep with Gary? I don't know. Yeah. And Ava's a clone.
Right.
So now we know what she is, but she's staying on the show. She's a regular, I think.
She's a series regular now.
Yeah.
So I guess she'll be on the Legends or something. I guess now the Time Bureau doesn't really matter.
I feel like she's the new Rip if Rip doesn't come back.
Yeah.
Because they kind of killed off Rip in this finale, but I feel like Rip is never really dead.
He's probably just scattered in time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Arthur Darvill just wants to do more plays, so he doesn't want to be a regular.
That's why, Stein... Victor Garber left because he wanted to go back to Broadway, which, I mean, more power to him.
Yeah, and Legends, I mean, they circle out the roster a lot. Though it's kind of weird. The only original people on the show now they have are Sarah, Ray, and Mick.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And then also,
you would have never thought that Mick would have been one of the staying people on that show, but I guess Dominic Purcell likes to make money.
And we said goodbye to Wentworth Miller to the Arrowverse for now.
But he could come back.
Right. It was like, yep, just shot my last one, and you thought it was just going to be like the satisfying one, and then his last words his character says was like, well, you like, we'll see you around, or something like that.
Around or something like that. So I guess they can use Leo if they ever want to bring back a version of Snart. Though, we can get into Flash in a minute, but, overall, Legends, at the end of the day, it knows what kind of show it is. It knows how to balance. You get some fun action. You get some fun effects. I liked Obama being kidnapped by Grodd. Run, Barry, run. That was good. It was a good joke.
Yeah.
It knows what it is. Unlike a lot of the other shows that have to find it in by cycling in new cast members, you're able to keep the show fresh. Mm-hmm. You're able to dive into DC lore, that you wouldn't get. I think the thing that Legends has going against it is that you've got, it's made up of C-list heroes for the most part. I mean, I guess Constantine and Kid Flash are probably the most notable people if they're both in the team that are on that show. But, yeah.
I mean, you could argue the Atom, but this version of the Atom is just so
He's just so different, yeah.
He might as well be a new character.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, The Flash. Decent finale.
It was a decent finale. It definitely wasn't... It definitely wasn't... It didn't have a huge cliffhanger like the other ones have had. Yeah. Barry didn't go away. Well, I'm like, pretty sure this is the first summer Barry hasn't, left the team, or the team hasn't broken up, or something like that.
No major team death.
No.
It's funny what my brother was saying, that it's just seems like making time travel mistakes runs in the family. 'Cause that's how you ended the season with the daughter. It's just we need to talk.
Yeah. I'm excited for the daughter.
Yeah, they were supposed to tease who the big bad was, but it got cut.
It got cut. They're going to do it at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Comic-Con's in what, 2 months?
Yeah.
July, right?
Yeah, a month and a half.
Yeah, they'll tease it at Comic-Con.
That's what they said they were planning on releasing it around Comic-Con.
Yeah, because they already shot whatever. So
I hope it's the Reverse Flash again.
Yeah, they said it's not going to be another speedster. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, allegedly. Because, I mean, I will say... They kind of did a weird thing with DeVoe where they clearly wanted to have a non-speedster villain, but they almost made him too powerful at the end, where it's they had to do a Matrix go in his mind thing to beat him.
Yeah.
It almost reminded me of you remember? Did you watch Bleach at all? Mm-hmm. Anime back in the day. You remember the villain in that show, Sosuke Aizen?
Yeah.
His powers were he literally could he'd control your 5 senses. And, there was really no way to beat him except for Deus Ex Machina. And, that's what I kind of felt like they did with Flash, where it's okay, we got to make our villain really, really strong because he's not a speedster. And they were oh, shit, okay.
What do we do now?
But I did, but, I mean, the finale was fine. It was predictable. I knew Ralph was going to be taken over by DeVoe so they could bring that actor back. And I knew Ralph was going to come back.
Right. So he's all the other ones are going to, and I was just oh, this is just going to be Ralph's body. Got it. Okay, that makes sense, I guess. But I'm trying to think, who is a big enough Flash villain that would warrant a season that's not a speedster?
Unless they just start winging it.
Right, because Mirror Master's already been played out. Abracadabra's gone.
I wish that they could do multiple speedsters at the same time.
Right.
And we could have a multiple speedster fight. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Multiple evil speedsters and multiple good speedsters.
Yeah, I remember maybe about 3 or 4 episodes before the finale, someone came out with a fan trailer where Barry went back in time and got Zoom and got Evil Wells to fight the Thinker, and I was oh, that's pretty cool. And then at the end, he got Savitar, and I was and you lost me, because he doesn't need another version of himself.
Nah, he would just make a time remnant at that point.
That's all that he was.
Because it's well, okay, Eobard's still around. Right. If they're doing, so his daughter on the show is Nora Allen instead of Dawn.
I think that got changed because Reverse Flash wouldn't change the timeline. So now instead of his mother living, his mother died. So in memoriam, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if, since I feel she's kind of taking over a Bart Allen type role, being from the future, you could do a version of Inertia.
Yeah.
If you wanted to.
Yeah.
If she had a rival. I guess, I mean, I don't know. Now I have a question. Is the Black Flash dead? Is he gone?
The Black Flash can die.
Can he? Because Caitlyn froze him in the season 3 finale, and I don't know if that was a permanent thing or.
Well, wasn't he in Legends after that?
I think Legends was before.
Was it? Okay.
So I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, but he can die. I don't know if, she could kill him, but I know it as a concept can die, but then I think someone else has to become it.
And people think that Caitlyn's dad. So we find out that I guess Caitlyn's been a meta before the accelerator. So people are theorizing that her dad is going to be like Icicle or something, and it's going to be genetic, and that'll be another villain they have.
That's cool.
But the biggest miss in the Flash is that, Legends kind of messed with them because they were clearly going to set up the rogues with Captain Cold and Heatwave and and like Weather Wizard and all those guys, and they never did it. Mm-hmm. And I think the one season of the Flash that I wish they did was the rogues and him having to fight multiple metas at the same time. You know what I mean?
Which they still could do, but not with this.
And that is a scenario where someone like Wally would be useful. Mm-hmm. Because you're fighting multiple dudes. Because Barry literally, he can be in two places at once, but not,
right.
Not within extremely far distance. He's not that fast.
They abandoned that time remnant possibility.
Yeah.
It's like they sort of abandoned the,
people didn't like
lightning. It makes sense.
Well, I felt like for a while Barry was throwing lightning like every episode.
That's all he could do, yeah.
Because it was like, well, we paid for that effect. Because, they save money. Because even in the first season, like when Barry would run from place to place, they would use the same transition.
Oh, it's still the same transition.
Yeah,
he was just like, when we film me running, I'm not even running anymore. I'm just on a standard treadmill and I'm just moving my arms.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's funny.
Yeah, he gets challenged in races a lot, apparently. Grant Gustin does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Flash was a decent season. It definitely wasn't Arrow Season 4 levels of bad. They didn't kill off the Black Canary.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But I definitely do think these shows are having... The only show that's evaded the Season 3-4 curse so far is Legends.
Mm-hmm. I would say I like this season better than last season.
You like it better than Savitar?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think...
But I also think the end plan for the Thinker was kind of dumb.
Oh, making everybody stupid so you could be smart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, then, if that's what this was really all about, really? You couldn't think of any better way? You could literally think of everything, and that was the best thing you did?
Yeah, I felt like, and I don't know, because, they lost Andrew Kreisberg, Mm-hmm. Because he worked on Flash and Supergirl, so I don't know if that affected anything with the seasons as well. Though I did like the hallway fight with DeVoe.
Mm-hmm. That was great.
And David Ramsey got to play DeVoe for like 2 seconds.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, that's neat.
And they brought him over.
Yeah, but that was cool. They're clearly like, all right, well, Marvel's done enough hallway fights, we should do one.
Right.
I'm shocked that Arrow hasn't really done one. Have they?
The closest they would have gotten was last season, when you were finding out who Prometheus was, and Oliver was reliving, or he was going up to where that.
Oh yeah, that was cool with the flashback. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was probably the best Arrow fighting, choreographed fighting seasons.
Yeah. So, you got anything else you want to say about Flash? Decent season. Decent season. Had some issues. I feel like the hate for Iris is a little overboard.
Yeah.
Like on Reddit.
Like, we are the Flash. Like, okay, get over it. It has a basis in comics.
Though they did. Did you see the meme I sent you with the Infinity War?
Yeah.
That was funny.
We are Gamora.
Yeah, I was like, where's Gamora? Who is Gamora? Why is Gamora? We are Gamora. I'm like, alright, that's pretty funny. But I do think, I feel like I honestly, I'm on Reddit a lot, and sometimes the hate for Iris, I'm like, it's a little racist. I'm like, okay. I understand why people were annoyed that she was in charge of the team, but the problem, I hate to say it, the problem with love interest in these shows is that once they get together, what do?
Right.
Well,
and they sort of undid Iris being a reporter. Once they did that was just sort of a wrap on what she had to do, because she could have still been a reporter.
Because they're trying to bring it back. Fine. They're trying to bring it back now.
Right.
Because they had the whole episode where she got powers, was like the episode where all right, we're trying to fix Iris's character by the end of the season. Mm-hmm. So I do agree that I do think they hang out in Star Labs way too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because like even in earlier seasons, like you have more. I mean, Barry lost his job, but you have more. Like Jill had more scenes at the Starling City PD,
right?
And they were all out a little bit more. And like Cisco was like their liaison. You know, I do think I felt a little claustrophobic in Star Labs.
Mm.
Like I want them to do other stuff.
It's like you're not doing.
Joe can have his job. You know, Cecile can be at home with the baby. Like everybody doesn't need to be in Star Labs all the time.
Mm.
You know. All right, so you wanna? I guess you're watching Arrow and Supergirl, so I can just go over those quickly.
Yep.
Arrow is a solid meh. I mean, it can't. I feel like they can't reach season 4 levels of bad, but it was kind of boring. They had the team break up and get back together. Meh. Ricardo Diaz didn't die. Him and Green Arrow have a fight. Him and Green Arrow have a fight on the roof, and then Black Siren uses her scream, and because she betrays him and knocks him off the building, and then it's like we can't find his body, and then Oliver's like, oh, I'm sure he's still alive, and I'm like, well, at least they didn't just assume he was dead, so he's alive.
Question about their fights, because I know this isn't the first time they fought over the season. Was it better than the Prometheus and him fight? Was it better than the?
It's about the same. It was about the same level. I mean, Richard Dragon, he doesn't really have.
He looked like a brawler.
He's a brawler, and he has a knife. That's his like. I mean, they had one thing where it's like him and Oliver had like a boxing match, and Oliver beat him, and then he just shanked Oliver to show that he's like. Richard Dragon is not. He's not an honorable dude. You know what I mean? He'll fight dirty.
Was that the episode where the promo was like, "I win, you leave the city"?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, because Oliver beat him in a fist-to-fist fight, and then he had him in a headlock, and then Diaz took out a knife and just stabbed him, and just shanked him. They brought back. They didn't bring back Tommy. It was the human target. But though it was weird because they had this whole like courtroom episode to try to get Oliver off from being the Green Arrow, and they do and the whole reason they get over the whole episode was pointless because at the end they kidnap the judge and the human target pretends to be the judge and gets him off. But then at the end of the season, Oliver makes the take because Diaz like takes over the whole city. Like he has like the cops on his payroll and all that stuff. Quentin is like the mayor, interim mayor, whatever. He gets kidnapped, and Oliver makes a deal with the CIA woman that's been investigating him, to turn himself in to get the FBI's help. Not CIA, the FBI's help to get the city back. So at the end, they get the city back, and then Oliver turns himself in and goes to Supermax, and that was the end of the season.
So, I mean, legal issues aside. So the FBI was not going to help do their jobs unless he turned himself in and he got everyone else like immunity. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know if that okay, whatever. Also, you can't be prosecuted for that.
If you guys don't know, Chris is in law school, so this is like his wheelhouse.
I don't want to talk about it anymore. This could go on for a while.
It was, yeah. So yeah, season was kind of goofy. I'm trying to think of anything else important. They killed Quentin.
Oh yeah, I was about to like someone died.
Yeah, they killed Quentin.
I remember that.
So Diaz kidnaps him and he threatens to kill Laurel, and then he gets in front of the bullet and Quentin gets shot, and then he dies in the hospital. He dies like Laurel died, where he was in the hospital, and they're like, "You're gonna be okay, Quentin," and the doctor's like, "Oh, we got to do some surgery," and then afterwards, and then they do the surgery, and the doctor comes out, and they're like, "Yeah, he had a seizure and died during the surgery," and Sarah came back for like 2 minutes. She came into the hospital right before and met Black Siren, and there's like this weird interaction, and Sarah's like, "Are you like my Laurel?" And then Black Siren's like, "Not at all." And that's all they say to each other.
Stabber.
Yeah, so I mean, it was. As far as next season, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do Arrow where everyone knows, because obviously he's going to come back, but not everyone knows he's a Green Arrow. Like, how does that... I mean, it's like Batman being outed, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, like, there's always like, how could he, like, have any sort of public life? Because literally everyone would want to kill him. Mm-hmm. And Felicity, and his son.
That's not a bad... Well, the son's a bad thing. Killing Felicity is not a bad thing.
And I guess they've had this redemption arc with Black Siren, which, why? I mean, hey, I just don't understand why they thought killing the Black Canary was a good idea. And then you give us 2 half measures where it's like, okay, we'll bring Katie Cassidy back and have her be evil, and then we'll bring another girl and have her be another Black Canary, and it's just like,
there can only be one.
Well, it's overboard. It's just. They shouldn't have killed her off. Like, that was probably the biggest mistake that show ever did.
It's probably the biggest mistake of the Arrowverse.
The biggest mistake of the Arrowverse. And I can't think of a show that has made that big of a mistake in recent...
And then immediately tried to retcon.
And yeah, because they obviously were like, oh my god, what do we do?
But they even had a chance to retcon it with Flashpoint.
Because they easily could have...
And they didn't.
They did have a chance to retcon it. Because that season 4, they should have killed off Quentin, to be honest. If they wanted to put someone in the grave that season, could have been Quentin. Some people argue Diggle. I mean, there's only 2 black guys in the show, so I'm a little biased. But you could have...
Was Curtis even on the show then?
He wasn't on the team, he was on the show in that season.
Oh, okay.
That's when he worked for Palmer Tech.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so... But, yeah, I mean, Arrow's still kicking, and we can talk about their crossover plans in a second. I know you didn't watch Supergirl, so it's still a solid meh. That's really all you need to know. They brought in other world killers to team up with Rain, but then Rain killed the other world killers and took their powers. So now she's stronger, and I was like, well, then what was the point of having the other world killers in the first place? But the Legion is disappointing. You don't really know what to do with Jimmy Olsen still. He's dating Lena, and one thing that really annoyed me that they're doing is that Lena knows how to make kryptonite, and she had kryptonite to like subdue Rain because she captured her at one point. Because she didn't know, because Lena's the first one to find out that, like, Rain is, like, their friend, like, whatever her name is, before, whatever, like, her human name, whatever she is. And Supergirl got mad, because Lena didn't tell her that she can make kryptonite, and even after she told her, Supergirl still has an attitude, and it's like, we've been through this in the comics. Even Superman, like, Batman has kryptonite, and Superman's like, I get it. You know what I mean? And it annoys me because it's like, you guys have evil Kryptonians attack all the time. It makes sense for someone to have some sort of weapon to use against them.
How'd Oliver get it?
What?
How'd Oliver get it? You still haven't answered that question.
Yeah, it's like, where did you get that? I have no idea.
Yeah, so that sounds all screwy.
It's just like, Lena, I can't trust you if you keep kryptonite. And it's like, Kara, you literally had an evil uncle in season 1.
And then an evil aunt in season 2?
And then they were Daxamites. They were weak to lead. So.
Wait, is this on season 3?
Season 2 was...
No, I'm saying...
The show's on season 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In this season, Rain's a Kryptonian.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So I'm like, okay, they've had enough evil Kryptonians where I'm like, it makes sense to have a little stashed away. I mean, if they get Supergirl and Superman, what are you going to do? I just don't understand.
I'm really surprised they even make Lena try and throw herself at Supergirl or Kara.
Well, this season they tried to rectify that, I think. Because the LGBT fandom got really annoyed with the queer baiting. So they're like, okay, we'll put Lena with Jimmy Olsen. But, I mean, Jimmy Olsen is boring, and they're boring. Jimmy Olsen really should not be on the show.
Nope.
And it's just like, it just annoys me because it's like, okay, if you have, like, Superman's best friend, like, with the Luthor, like, you could put some drama there if Superman was, like, on the show or something like that, you know?
Has he been on the show at all this season?
Not this season.
Oh,
I guess Tyler Hoechlin's busy.
I guess.
But it's just like, or they don't want to use them, which is dumb.
Speaking of Superman lore, there's another DC Superman show that is already better than Superman.
I gotta catch up on Krypton.
Krypton has pleasantly surprised me.
Yeah, I know they changed the future, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
And Zod's lineage is in charge now.
Yeah, Zod is in charge.
Okay.
So it's interesting. So Colin Salmon, who was from Arrow, who was Walter Steele on Arrow, came up, and then after like an episode of him being there, it was revealed that he is Drew Zod, the Zod that we know from comics, formerly Michael Shannon, which is really interesting.
Interesting we have a black Zod.
Yeah, well, it was even interesting because you had the black lineage of Zod, and then the woman, the main Zod we follow besides him is his mother, and she is she's light skinned, and Colin Salmon is dark.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're like, who's his father? Well, we don't know who his father is. You know, my mom wouldn't tell me who she is. She just said he disappeared in the Brainiac bottling.
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes to find out, Seg-El, who is Superman's grandfather, is his father. And Seg is white.
Okay.
And so I was like, I don't think genetics works that way. You darkened than both your parents.
Yeah.
But also that some people got mad. They're just like, he can't be Jor-El's brother. He can't. That's just you're just. I read Meltdowns and it was hilarious.
Really?
Because the people were just freaking out.
But do they have do they breed on that show, or do they do the pod thingies?
They do the pods as far as we know, and we don't know how. Well, at this point, we could just say like, oh, maybe she's just pregnant because they've done it a bunch of times on the show. But they've never said that it wasn't possible to do that. They just said everybody just does it through the codex.
Okay.
That's still a thing on the show. But they also introduced a new wrinkle into that, which I thought was interesting, where the council basically created a system where there are all the clones of the people that exist,
mm-hmm.
and that you can transfer your consciousness from yourself to the clone. It's basically to keep that immortality thing.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the characters is that. And they made that reveal in the finale. It was just like, wow.
Yeah, I'll binge it. I'll binge it pretty soon.
Also Doomsday.
They have Doomsday on there?
Yeah, and a good looking
Doomsday. A good looking Doomsday.
I mean, granted. There's 2 shots from Batman vs. Superman where Doomsday actually looks cool.
Yeah.
But this Doomsday looks closer to the Doomsday we know from the comics in the 80s and the 90s. And I'll show you a picture and then you can throw it up on the
Yeah, I know.
But the graphics they've done on this, it's very impressive.
Yeah, no, I've heard good things about Krypton for the most part.
Which has also made Supergirl fans mad, but then you have to understand 2 different networks, two different budgets,
yeah. Yeah, well, I'm done talking about Supergirl, it's dumb. But no, Krypton, I will definitely check it out. Did you watch Gotham at all?
I saw that 4-minute clip my brother tagged us all on Twitter.
Oh, with Jeremiah. Yeah, Gotham. At the end of the day, Gotham was one of those things. They got renewed for a final season, which I don't know. People are feeling bittersweet about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, Gotham is an Elseworld story, and if you accept it as such, you can find enjoyment out of it. You know, it's never going to be a Batman show, but I do think they have fun. They have fun with what they can, and I've enjoyed season 4 actually for the most part. Sometimes they'll do characters that are super faithful. Sometimes they won't be. But I did like their recent take on the Joker. Ra's al Ghul is a disappointment, but they at least did better casting. Because they actually casted a man of color to play Ra's al Ghul, instead of a Liam Neeson.
Or
I don't even.
The Englishman.
The English guy they had on Arrow. Wait, let me see. I'll put a clip of the... Okay, yeah, the Doomsday does look pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll put the clip on the video, the podcast, that'll go up on YouTube.
So, yeah, I think so. I think as a show that as soon as it got announced, I was like, this sounds stupid. Who cares about Superman's grandfather?
Yeah.
Or that it's done pretty well for itself.
Well, it's almost like if they just let them have the TV rights, I feel like you could take the best of Supergirl and the best of Krypton and just do a Superman show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, clearly they have the money now. You can do a Superman show. You can make him fly and make him look good.
Yep.
Make it look good. Use enough of the Superman lore. When Supergirl gets canceled, I say they should just do a Superman show. They're never going to because they want to keep it for the movies. But yeah, they cannot they can realistically do a Superman show at this point.
If they had the vision, they could have the coexisting universes of movie and TV show, and then culminate it into a Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah. Yeah,
you
that's
could
the
technically
dream.
still do that now, and in 5-7 years do Crisis, and then bring back Dean Cain, and bring back, well, Richard Reeves is not with us, but Tom Welling, and bring back Diane Lane or Diane Carter.
Don't bring back Chloe Sullivan.
Yeah.
Don't bring back Allison Mack.
Yeah, Chloe doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can do it. Honestly, a superhero who I would love to get their own TV show from like the main 7 would probably be Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Because you could still have that detective type part as, TV show, but also have him, trying to like fit in, and then you have flashbacks to Mars. And
if you want to save money, I mean, he can be in his human form all the time.
Right.
As they do on Supergirl.
Right. Oh, yeah, I forgot he was on... Oops. I forgot he was on... Oops.
Nah, they do, yeah, it's just... We'll move on.
All right. Infinity
Fun
War?
fact... Wait, one more thing. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got renewed. I'm shocked.
Pass.
I'm shocked. And they wrote a series finale. People are making fun of the writers because the writers wrote a season finale because they thought a series finale because they thought they're going to get canceled. And then ABC was like, "Surprise! We'll give you half a season." So I'm just like, if you're ever struggling with any of your dreams, just remember that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. can get renewed. Anything can happen. Because everyone was like, "Dude, this is it."
Over. Inhumans got canceled.
Yeah, well, they deserved.
Yeah, they didn't deserve to get that like IMAX 2-hour premiere.
That was embarrassing.
Like,
I still haven't seen it.
I was like, why would you want to put that?
Did you see it?
Mm-mm. But I was just like, just looking at it, it was like, why would you want to put like practical effects that were that bad on IMAX for everybody to see how bad it was?
Yeah.
But moving on to something good in IMAX.
Okay, yeah, so, we can do Infinity War. So, yeah, Avengers Infinity War.
Hey, guys, I liked the Marvel movie.
I know, Chris liked it. Woo! And his brother.
Yeah.
Does it make your top 5 or no?
Yeah. Top 5 Marvel movie? I think it's my number 3.
Really?
I think my top 5 are Winter Soldier, Black Panther,
Oh, yeah, I
Infinity War, Iron Man, first one, and Guardians, the first one.
It's a pretty solid list. Yeah, that's pretty much where mine are, though I'd probably have Civil War at a number 6, but I know we don't have to. I
think Civil War is my number 7.
Yeah. But, so Infinity War, so this movie is almost like, I feel like it's almost like the Last Jedi of the Marvel movies, because the general consensus on the movie's good. But there's like an undercurrent of people I've noticed on Twitter that hate the movie. Yeah. Some of the critiques are valid. Yeah. Some of them I'm like,
And see, it's funny because my brother and I on Facebook for like the last month, what we were worried about were all the black people that were going to be like, they destroyed Wakanda. So we tried to prep them for it. Yeah. Wakanda didn't get destroyed. Black Panther disappeared, and so this one woman yelled out, "Take me instead!"
That's good.
You do you.
That's good. That's funny.
You do you. But I think it was interesting how I'm starting to see this more with people that only saw Black Panther and haven't seen any of the other Marvel movies or
My
any
mom
other
didn't like
comic
it.
book movies. But like the people that are just like, why did it do it like that? Why didn't they just end it? And I was just like, this movie isn't really for you in that way where you're just going to see it and you expect everything to just... It's not your typical superhero movie.
No.
It's Thanos' movie.
Yeah, well, let's do the good and the bad. Okay, so I will say the good of the movie. Josh Brolin as Thanos did a good job. I was afraid he was going to be Steppenwolf, and he wasn't.
I wasn't afraid he was going to be Steppenwolf. I was afraid that I just wasn't going to be terrified of him, and I wasn't.
I wasn't terrified of Thanos, per se, but I appreciate that at the end of the day, the villain got what he wanted.
Right.
And I appreciated that it was like every plan the good guys had failed.
Right.
Every fail safe. It all failed.
Although one of them would have succeeded if certain people waited 15 seconds. Or,
I know.
Instead of hitting him in the face, hit him in the chest, kick him in the balls if he has balls. Something. There was a lot he could do.
Yeah. Okay, so what I liked about Thanos was that we got enough time with him. Because one of my fears was that...
29 minutes, I think, is
Yeah, one of my fears was that, okay, we're not going to get enough time with Thanos. We get a decent look at his power set, you know? Mm-hmm. I will say, the opening to me was fantastic.
He didn't even use the Power Stone.
Because you first see him, he beats the crap out of the Hulk, he kills Heimdall and Loki, and I'm like, okay, this is off to a great start.
I clapped when Loki died.
Yeah.
I got lost.
I was like, okay, they know. I was like, okay, they're not pulling their punches, because I was afraid they were going to throughout most of the film. I know some people are disappointed with the Black Order. They could have been stronger in some cases.
Yeah, so this is sort of the thing that Marvel has sort of done as I've looked over the entire cinematic universe. They've powered up some characters or made them more useful while weakened a lot of other characters.
Yeah.
Like, they've made Black Widow a lot more useful because her killing skills aren't really, able to be put on display.
Yeah.
Or, really, most of her spy skills.
Yeah, they make her more of a ninja.
Right, but then Drax is significantly weaker. Most of the Guardians are significantly weaker.
Yeah.
Groot is sort of the same, he's just not utilized. Rocket's probably about the same as his usefulness.
The Hulk is weaker.
The Hulk is definitely weaker. But even though, hey, Thanos still pimp smacked him in his comment. But he beat the Hulk so bad that the Hulk is like, being mad is not the way to go.
Yeah.
But the Russo brothers tried to come back and say it was just like, no, he just didn't want to be the one that's just used for the most. I was like, nah.
He was scared.
He got clowned.
He was shook.
He
was shook.
He was done.
Yeah, no, I mean, with Infinity, they do different stuff. I mean, the thing about the Black Order is that we weren't going to get an origin story of the Black Order in this movie.
Right.
I knew that going in. They were henchmen. They served their purpose because at the end of the day, Thanos can't be everywhere at once. Mm-hmm. The heroes need people to fight. They needed a faceless army until Thanos got... They needed a faceless army to beat until Thanos got there and beat the crap out of everybody.
Right. So I was fun. I know one of my friends and my brother's friends we went to go see Infinity War with wasn't happy with how Corvus Glaive died because Corvus Glaive can only be killed when his glaive is destroyed. And I was just like, well, at least he got killed with... After I saw this thing, I was like, at least he got killed with his glaive. So technically, his glaive destroyed himself. So I guess that's sort of a loophole.
Vision was kind of a bitch in the movie.
Yeah, yes, he was.
Vision was very underpowered.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, I can't phase. And I was just like, aren't you still made out of vibranium?
Right.
And he shoots a laser from his Infinity Stone. And Corvus Glaive is blocking it with his staff. And I'm just like, well.
You're just downright useless in this movie, aren't you, buddy?
Yeah. I mean, I get for plot purposes. Because one of the plot points is like, okay, we're going to try to save Vision. But yeah, man, I like Thanos. They cut his origin story. They cut out Mistress Death. And
they changed Gamora's backstory, too. Because in the first Guardians, she was introduced as being the only one of her race, and Thanos got her.
Yeah.
And at this point, half her race is still left. So I think that sort of like changes. Like, I think it would have been more compelling emotionally if Thanos came to her planet, saw she was like to do what he was gonna do, but saw she was the only one left, rescued her, and then because of what happened to her, she had that same will, but then realized, like, after, you know, doing it for a while, just like, there's gotta be a better way. Or this is unconscionable, I'm a monster, you're a monster, left.
Yeah.
I think that would have been more compelling than that. How did you feel about Gamora being the Soul Stone? Or Gamora being sacrificed to become the Soul Stone?
So this is a controversial part of the movie. So
this is the part my brother spoiled for me before we saw the movie, because he was just like, I didn't want to deal with you raging during the film. I was just like, I don't know if I would have raged, because Adam Warlock's not even in the movie in the first place, so that was already.
So here's the thing. I was on a podcast called Speak on It a couple weeks ago, and I talked about it with this woman named Lanisha, and a lot of people were upset by this for some reason. So there's this trope in you've heard of women in refrigerators.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's this trope called Women in Refrigerators where it came from old Green Lantern comics where Green Lantern's girlfriend gets murdered and stuffed in a refrigerator.
Yep,
and he comes home and he's like, oh my god. And it's essentially the idea where you go beyond the damsel in distress, where you like victimize or brutalize a female character to further like a male's like story. So a lot of people, you know, who I'll say maybe they're like more liberal, or some use the phrase like SJW, that kind of stuff. They didn't like that Gamora had to die to further Thanos' story. They think it's like a tired trope in movies, and it legitimately like upset people that this happened. And my kind of verdict is that was kind of bad for Gamora's character. I don't know if she'll come back in 4. Who knows?
I think she will.
I think she will too, because they already talked about her being Guardians 3.
Well, I also think she'll come back as she'll be the in Infinity Gauntlet. Adam Warlock has such a bond to the Soul Stone that he eventually goes back in the Soul Stone into Soul World, which lives in the stone, and he reaches from that one to the other 5 stones, and then he comes up on top with the gauntlet. So I think Gamora could do that, and then you could have like a sort of pseudo Infinity Watch in Guardians 3, and then you have that against Adam Warlock and not.
Yeah, but I do think.
But I mean, like, he sacrificed pretty much everyone to get to his goal.
Yeah, but I think the movie, as far as like thematically, because I've seen the movie 3 times now, the movie does need that moment for Thanos, I think, because when you cut out Mistress Death, you're like, okay, what are this guy's motivations?
Right.
And at the end of the day, him killing Gamora, even though on some level he didn't care about her, and some people say like, oh well, abuse isn't love and all that stuff, but you at least you get the idea from Thanos that this isn't something that he necessarily wants to do, but he feels like he has to do it.
Right.
Like that, and I think him killing Gamora is like the central part of the movie that like. His character is like decimated if you did not have that scene.
Right.
You know, the way they made it. Now, hey, if they did the whole Mistress Death thing, then maybe it could have been different. But I do think the movie needed that in the state that they made it, in the way that they decided to adapt Infinity War.
Yeah, I thought his plan, like, you know, because of the finite resources of everything, like. Okay, yes, snapping your fingers, wiping out half the universe, you got that, but then there are other routes you could have gone to done the whole thing. You could have made all resources infinite.
You could have expanded the universe, could have made resources infinite, and people are like, why didn't he do that?
You could have snapped your fingers and wiped out greed.
You know, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, Thanos is a little crazy, you know?
Yeah.
But
he wasn't a nihilist.
Yeah, it's hard, right? Because there's always this debate where, you know, people in TV shows and movies do dumb things, you know?
Right.
I watch The Flash. Barry Allen makes terrible decisions all the time. And there's the debate of, okay, do you have characters do a smart thing, or can they do dumb things as long as they're in character? You know? And there are some people who straight up just did not vibe with Thanos' plan, you know. And I do wish, I do think that maybe if we had a flashback of his life on Titan or something like that, that we could have at least seen why he thinks that way a little bit more. Because I understand why his plan for certain people, it didn't grab them the way he should. Because the issue you have with a lot of these villains in comics is that someone like Thanos is like basically Hitler. You know what I mean? And the issue is, well, if you don't want them to be mustache twirling and evil for the sake of evil, you have to give them some sort of backstory. Right. And some people are like, well, Thanos shouldn't have been sympathetic at all. But I'm like, well, then you get Steppenwolf. And people complain about that. Right. So at some point, you had to give him something. Right. Now, but as far as like the presentation of Thanos, he beat everybody up. Except for he didn't really use the Soul Stone in battle. Right. But he used,
that's sort of hard to use in battle.
But he did utilize all the other stones in battle. So it was a nice display of like the range of the stone's power, I thought.
Right, and then it was interesting that when he used the Time Stone, it was still the same as when Doctor Strange used it. And I was just like, oh, so that's not the mystical part of it, even though those are the same mystical effects. It was literally, he was just like, turning back time, literally. And
I'm trying to think of my favorite action things.
Stormbreaker.
Probably my favorite scene in the movie was Thor coming back with Stormbreaker. Bring me Thanos.
Yeah, when he went up in the air and you saw all the lightning going up on the different... I was like, I've seen that in the comic.
I'm like, why haven't we had that Thor this whole time? Because like Thor is supposed to be the god of thunder, but like in movies he's like a god. In this one I was like, okay,
he's the god of thunder.
He's the god of thunder. So I did like Thor with Stormbreaker.
Steve Rogers.
I like that. Doctor Strange was really cool in this movie. Mm-hmm. I felt like in his movie he wasn't the Sorcerer Supreme yet. Right. In this movie, I bought him as a Sorcerer Supreme.
I still don't even think he's a Sorcerer Supreme because it's only been 3 years.
I know, but at least like his power set of like, I like we needed the clones and the whole like Azura thing. I'm like, all right, that's cool. He's him seeing all the futures and timelines. I'm like, okay, he's Doctor Strange. Okay, I believe you. When Thanos had the one-on-one fight with Iron Man and Iron Man was stabbed, do you think Iron Man was dead? Nope. Because they really tried to play it like he was going to die. And then Doctor Strange is like, wait, I'll give you the stone. And you're like, okay.
I was just like, Spider-Man's not dead yet, so nope, he's not dead. Because I knew in that scene or in the trailer where you saw Iron Man was holding his hand like this. At first, I didn't think he was holding his hand. I thought he was holding Spider-Man's hand, and like Spider-Man's hand was like lifeless, so he was holding it up. I didn't know it was like that. But, so I was like, that scene hasn't happened yet, so he's still alive. Yeah. And so there was that. Doctor Strange was really well done. People were just like, he could have done more, he shouldn't have given him the stone. I was just like, he saw over 14 million possibilities.
He had to.
This is the one where they won.
Yeah.
Calm down.
He knew you had to. This is all according to Strange's plan.
Right.
But, and some of this movie is predicated on, okay, what's Avengers 4 going to be like? At the end of the day, it's a part 1, and some people are like, oh, well, I hate part 1 movies. And I'm sitting here like, well, the thing about Infinity War is that either you're going to make it 2 movies or you shouldn't do it at all. Right. Because if you had ended this movie with, I don't know, Thor cutting off Thanos' hand and Captain America getting the gauntlet, it would have been like,
honestly,
come on.
I still wish, though, that he had only come to Earth, or this movie was only him getting, like, the Soul Stone. Mm-hmm. Or he already had them all. Because I think even with the stone, the only thing we saw him do with the gauntlet was just, like with all the stones, would snap his fingers and we just saw everybody fade away. Mm-hmm. There's so much more power to the gauntlet than that we just don't get to see. Granted, we were never going to see him fight Eternity or Galactus or Love and Hate, and that's fine. But there was still, like, portions of it where he is light years and light years away, and he throws a tantrum, and it throws the Earth off its orbit. Yeah. It's just like, well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Thanos, I feel like almost everyone's nerfed from the comics, though, in some ways. With the exception of some people like Widow who are stronger. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because I would be interesting to see, well, how strong was Thanos before he got any of the stones?
Well, I think we saw that with the Hulk, because he wasn't channeling the Power Stone.
Yeah.
Because he just bodied the Hulk. Oh, good God.
Yeah.
So other things I liked. I thought it was really cool seeing Cap and Black Panther fighting together. It was like, I need that Cap World War II Black Panther movie. I think that'd be really cool, but we're not gonna get that.
Yeah. And some people were disappointed with Wakanda because they felt like Wakanda didn't get to use as much of its stuff. But I think the movie had so much going on that they were like, okay, well, every superhero's got to do something.
People were like, they didn't use the planes. I was like, yeah, they did. They're just in the background.
Yeah.
They were fighting the ships up above. And also, he said, evacuate the city and engage all defenses. And evacuating the city, you got to use some of your defenses to get the people out, and then also defend the people while they're getting out.
That's true. Yeah, you could have seen some of the Wakandan ships blowing stuff up, but at the end of the day, I mean, they weren't anticipating how big Black Panther was going to be. Mm-hmm. I think if they had made the movies farther apart, there probably would have been more Black Panther in there. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, Wakanda, to me, it felt like it was just a place. Because it's like, well, we don't want to have another battle in a city again.
Right. I guarantee you they were looking at the Black Panther totals rising up after they finished post-production. The Russos was just like, we know how this movie is going to end. They were seeing how much people love Black Panther, and they're just like,
yeah.
Crap.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
it was just like he doesn't even show up in the Infinity Gauntlet comic.
Hey, you still got Okoye, M'Baku, and Shuri though.
Yeah, and apparently this Avengers 4 takes place like 10 years in the future. So
we might get Shuri as Black Panther for like a minute. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about Avengers 4 theories in a minute.
It's a bad.
I thought the Guardians were funny in this. I thought Drax was really good.
I would have wished to see more of Warrior Drax. We haven't really seen Warrior Drax.
I mean, they use him as comic relief for the most part.
Which is kind of disappointing, but Dave Bautista does it well.
Yeah.
Mantis was properly used.
Yeah,
She
Mantis.
was there for about like a minute.
She did her Mantis did her thing. Rocket hanging out with Thor, I thought was decent in this too.
Mm-hmm.
I like the gag with him wanting to steal Bucky's arm.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, it's good.
I would get that.
And there were some decent like Guardians continuity things there, where he's like, oh, the Avengers. Thor's like, oh, the Earth's mightiest heroes. Then Mantis is like, oh, like Kevin Bacon.
Like,
and Thor's like, I don't know, he might be on the team. I was like, that was a good joke.
Yeah.
That was a good Guardians callback. There were a few. It even, like, when Peter's intimidated by Thor was funny. And he's like, oh, well, my father died. And Peter's like, well, I have to kill my father after you kill my mother.
And so that scene was funny for me for, like, an outside reason. I think I might have sent this to you. This was maybe back in, like, February. There was a Facebook post where someone was just, like, details, like, this movie is going to be everybody coming back together and talking about how all their parents were dicks.
Yeah.
And what happened to them. And it was just like, Thor and Peter and Gamora and it was just like this whole list, and I was just like, huh, that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm glad they drawed certain comparisons and certain things together. I again, like, Mark Bernardin, who's like the co-host of Fat Man on Batman with Kevin Smith, he pretty much said, this is a movie that probably shouldn't have been made. And at the end of the day, it's a miracle that it's as good as it was. If this is a movie, I mean, you can nitpick the crap out of it, but as far as like what I got, I was satisfied. I know that certain people, especially people I think who are fans of some of the newer characters, were disappointed. Like my mom was like, they took away all my favorite characters because she likes Spider-Man and Black Panther. You know what I mean? Some people are disappointed, like, okay, where was Valkyrie? You know what I mean? So, like, I get where the disappointment comes in, because at the end of the day, we're pretty much left with the original Avengers, and the next movie is going to be, like, their final swan song before everybody else gets a sequel.
Right.
So I will say to the people that were disappointed because some of their newer characters didn't do what they wanted, you're going to get more time with them. There's going to be sequels.
Right.
You know they're doing Black Panther 2, Spider-Man 2.
It blew my mind that people
Guardians
thought
3.
Disney was lying after they saw Infinity War. They're just like, they psyched us out with the sequels. They're not coming back. I was just like, what?
Dude, they're coming back.
Yeah, so that's sort of it's interesting seeing non-comic book fans react to
this
the
movie.
Pinnacle,
Yeah, it is
the pinnacle of comic book
because
movies.
it's like we know, like us as comic book readers, like we know they're going to come back.
Plus, no one in comics stays dead. I hope
unless
so.
you're Uncle Ben or Batman's parents,
right? And then you come back only to die. I think it was. I think. Crap! What was I going to say? I think having seen how Infinity War played out, I would have rather had the Marvel Cinematic Universe lead up to Civil War.
What do you mean?
I think that would have been a much better pinnacle of the MCU than Infinity War, just because of how hard it is to do. Like the miracle that it is this good.
So you're saying if they did a version of Civil War, but with more characters,
It would have been a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because-
no, I see what you're saying.
Because then, at that point, like, granted, I think they still would have ran into the issue of who's right here. Because in reality, even though you could make an argument in the first Civil War comic book that Iron Man was right with siding with the government, or Cap was right, that the government and S.H.I.E.L.D. and Iron Man did some really shady things that sort of makes them villainous, sort of defined their characters for the better part of 5 years or so in the comics, if not longer. And I think that they would have struggled with that as well. But then I think that would have been a better use of everything, because then you could have brought in the TV show heroes. Granted, to be completely honest, I only want Luke Cage and Daredevil. Daredevil for one line that he would said to Iron Man, and Luke Cage because Luke Cage and Black Panther would have fought together, and that would have been cool.
Yeah, it's never gonna happen.
I can hope.
Though Mike Coulter, he said that Luke Cage survived the snap in his own canon. They're never gonna reference that ever.
But they have to if it happens after Infinity War.
Because they're not even, like, the Netflix shows aren't even on, like, the movie timeline anymore.
Right.
All they reference is the incident, and that's it.
Right.
There's nothing with Sokovia. There's nothing.
And Danny Rand is still bad.
Yeah. Though in Jessica Jones Season 2, which is weird, they do reference the raft. I don't know how that's public knowledge.
Yeah.
The raft prison.
Yeah. Because they reference that, and then they finally used it, and then they got broken it out of. So, what's the point?
They never really explained how Cap got in there.
Oh,
Did he swim?
No, he took a Wakandan ship.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
That happened in a comic. I bought the 2 Avengers Infinity War Prelude comics.
And it was a waste of money.
$7
Yeah.
because the first comic, besides like maybe like 4 or 5 panels, was literally the last few minutes of Civil War.
They just recapped it.
They didn't recap it. They put it on panels.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just spent $3 on this.
Yeah.
I see you, Marvel. That's why I don't buy your comics.
Just trying to make money. Yeah, Marvel's really trying. Marvel's really trying to rip off DC Rebirth, and it's not. It's not working the same. I mean, they have the core Avengers back pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
This is off topic. Because Thor's back.
Mm-hmm.
Odinson's back. Non-Nazi Cap is back. Iron Man's back.
Yep.
And there's
no longer a program. He's actually out of his coma.
They've got this ongoing thing with the hunt for the regular Wolverine supposed to be coming back.
Yeah.
So, So anyway, you got any other thoughts on Infinity War, really?
I have lots of thoughts on Infinity War, but we should talk about Deadpool too.
Yeah, I mean, so Infinity War was, in my opinion, I think just to see this movie being made is worth seeing at least once.
Yeah.
I think your mileage may vary just depending on what you normally get out of the MCU. I liked it. My dad was confused. My mom didn't like it. My sister liked it.
If you didn't at least geek out once and you call yourself a comic book fan,
yeah,
you're dead inside.
Most comic people, I feel like, liked it.
You have to at least like one moment in the film.
I think some of the people who jumped in to Marvel, maybe, I think some people who aren't as familiar with the source material and maybe have kind of jumped into the MCU in recent years, especially like with Black Panther and Ragnarok and stuff like that, which we won't get into, may not like it as much. But yeah, so Deadpool 2.
All right, Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2 was funny. It's a funny movie. It was different from the first one. I haven't really tried comparing them, and I don't think I can really do that well. Because the first one was really a solo one, and the second one, as he tells you in like the first 2 minutes, is family film. Bless you.
I take my allergy meds. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, get that. So I think it was, they both played off their own tropes well. I think it was funny, the gag with the X-Force.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin's having a good month.
Yeah, Josh Brolin, they're calling it the summer of Brolin.
Yeah, he's had a good month. He did a good job as Cable. I like that there was the Juggernaut in there.
Spoiler, yeah, that was probably the best surprise because I didn't know he was going to be in the movie.
So I remember when they showed that Colossus punch in the trailer and people froze it, and they're just like, "Is this the Juggernaut's armor?" And I'm just like, "No." And then as I got closer, I'm just like, "Maybe." Nothing. No other shot came, and I'm just like, "Maybe." And my hopes built up, and then there he was, and I was just like, "Yes."
Yeah,
Even though I'm just like, why wouldn't you take off his helmet if he was in the prison?
Oh, because it was all CG.
Yeah, but I was just like,
it's Ryan Reynolds. He was Juggernaut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I mean, so so spoilers, I guess. The two big twists in this movie that you don't know from the trailers is that X-Force is like a joke.
Yeah.
They shot fake scenes just to kill off all of X-Force except for Domino, which makes sense only because they brought back pretty much all supporting cast in the first movie. Mm-hmm. The movie had enough characters already.
Right.
You know?
And it added Yukio.
And they brought back Negasonic and Colossus. And they had Domino, they added Yukio. And, you had the Fire Kid. I forget what his name was.
Fire Fist is what he called
Fire Fist, yeah. You had Fire Fist. So I understood why they did that. And apparently they're going to do an actual X-Force movie.
Right.
And with the ending of this movie, I guess they could bring anyone back that they wanted to.
Right.
Louis Tan is, having a rough time.
Right. God bless Zazie Beetz, though.
Yeah, no, Domino was great.
Mm-hmm. Luck is not a power. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It's not very cinematic, though.
Well, the only thing that annoys me is that Flash had someone with similar powers to her this season, and seeing it in movie form, I'm like, the movies did it a lot better.
Yeah. Well, because I guess in that one, it was only good luck for her and bad luck for everybody else, as opposed to Domino is just good luck for her and bad luck for everybody else.
Yeah, and I think, don't they explain it in the comics that somehow, like, she subconsciously, like, manipulates, there's a field around her that protects her pretty much from everything.
Yeah.
And so everything, but it appears as luck.
Right.
But no, Domino was awesome. They killed Vanessa and brought her back at the end, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, they cut out a post-credit scene.
Yeah, so the post-credit scene, there's a bunch. Pretty much, Deadpool, they rework Cable's time travel device. He brings Vanessa back at the end. They do a great X-Men Origins Wolverine. He kills...
That almost didn't happen.
Why?
Because that was on film. Like, actual film.
Yeah.
It wasn't digital. So they weren't sure if they could get it in time. And so they because his part was filmed. Him shooting it was filmed. But getting the Wolverine in that part wasn't... They weren't sure about getting that. And then they're just like, oh, God, I don't want to have to call Hugh and ask him to relive this part of his life. But luckily, they were able to get it.
Yeah, and they killed the X-Men Origins Wolverine, so I guess that movie...
No, Parakapool.
Yeah, Parakapool. So I guess that movie is officially retconned. And then at the end, he murders Ryan Reynolds with the Green Lantern script.
Yep.
Which was that was a good... Yeah, that was a good riff at DC. It was funny. And then... The last credit scene was supposed to be him killing baby Hitler.
Yeah, he was supposed to be choking out baby Hitler.
But they did it, but they cut it out because they didn't want that to be the last scene of the movie. Hopefully it ends up on the DVD.
Yeah. I wonder how it was like they'll distinguish him being baby Hitler. Will they put the little Hitler mustache on the baby?
Probably. But I mean, all in all, Deadpool 2, after Infinity War, Deadpool 2 was a nice comedy. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, if you like the first one, you should like the second one, in my opinion.
If you didn't see the first one in theaters, but you loved it once you got it, when you rented it or Redboxed it or Netflix or whatever, then go see the second one.
Yeah. No, I mean, I had fun. It was a fun movie. I'm trying to think of any other like big things or like really good jokes they used.
I thought in the cab scene where they're just like, "Oh, who would have thought that my name would be mentioned in the same sentence as Jesus?"
Yeah, no, it was a good joke. And I'm trying to think of the jokes.
The cameo with some of the cast from the X-Men movie.
Oh yeah. That
great.
was apparently they were shooting Dark Phoenix the same time they were filming this or whatever. So they make the joke, the same one they made, similar to the one they made in the first movie. It was like, how come I don't see any other X-Men here? And then this door opens up where you see like it's not canon, but you see the Dark Phoenix cast. You see like Xavier and Beast and Cyclops and Storm in a room, and they just close the door on Deadpool, and it's clear like green screen.
Mm-hmm. But that was funny. If you blinked, you missed that.
And when the X-Force dies, there was one that was invisible. It was Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt, yeah, that was good. Because my brother was, my brother was just like, my brother's friend was just like, "Is that Brad Pitt?" I was like,
"Yep." So Brad Pitt is in this movie, and Matt Damon was one of the truckers that Cable kills when he first comes back.
Yep.
Which I did not notice.
Yeah, Matt Damon's just getting cameos and
cameos.
Everything.
Yeah, cause
pissing off Jimmy Kimmel, I bet.
Probably. But yeah, no, I mean, Deadpool 2 was fun. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. You know, if you're upset about X-Force, they're doing an X-Force movie with Deadpool in it next.
Right.
They don't even know if they want to do Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
Because they said that the problem is that now they introduce time travel, there's no way to threaten them.
Right.
Really.
So we got that. So if we want to transition to a less fun movie that I'll talk about.
So yeah, you saw Solo, I didn't, so you go for it.
Yeah, so Solo was about as fun as a colonoscopy. No, it wasn't that bad. It was just unnecessary, and unlike Rogue One, which was a fun and good unnecessary movie, this one just felt kind of like soulless and a cash grab. And that's probably what
Do they tease any future Star Wars stuff, or like?
I mean, they could, but here's the thing. So there's this criminal organization that he ends up working for, called the Crimson Dawn. Not even Black Sun, which is an established one in the comic lore and in the TV shows. And it turns out through not so subtle hinting that, and then eventual cameo by Sam Witwer voicing and Ray Park acting, that Maul is the head of this organization. Which would have been all fine and cool if last year they didn't kill Maul on Tatooine like a year or a few months before A New Hope starts. So it's like, oh yeah, it's cool to see Maul back on the big screen, but he's dead. So what does that matter? But then there are all these bunch of people that didn't watch Rebels or Clone Wars, so they're like, Maul's alive? And I'm just like, oh, you poor naive people. But, okay. Kid that played Han Solo, can't act. Emilia Clarke, I love you in Game of Thrones, but that's where you should stay. Donald Glover, he did a good job, but he kept on switching between the Billy D. Williams accent to just being normal Donald Glover. And sometimes it would mix, like when he's first on screen, he's doing the Billy D. Williams, and I'm just like, okay. And then next time I hear him speak, it's Donald Glover, and then there's this weird mixing of it. So there's that. So other than that, he did a good job. What's his name? Hey Mitch from Hunger Games. Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson's character, Beckett, largely forgettable. The Han Solo arc just didn't feel earned. There was no character growth.
Okay.
He was just always who he was in episode 4 where we meet him. Instead of just being like, you could have had him be like this bleeding heart character, and then just have that whole world shattered for him, and that's why he's reluctant to join the rebellion. But no, he's only reluctant to join the rebellion because now he just, like, he always wants to help people secretly, but he just didn't want to join. Like, no, I didn't feel like that was earned. The first time they did the Kessel Run in this movie, did not feel epic at all. Han and Chewie flying off in the Falcon for the first time, or co-piloting in the Falcon together, didn't feel earned.
Really?
Han and Lando's relationship didn't feel... There was a lot of issues. And then surrounding this movie beforehand, there was a problem within the LGBT community and outside of it with Lando's sexuality. So the director came out and said that Lando was pansexual. So then you had the people that came out and said, why are you ruining my childhood? And then you had the other people that would be like, you're queer baiting. And no one was happy.
Yeah.
And in this movie, I don't see how... They're saying he's pansexual because he loved his robot, which was just like, okay, the robot said he loved him, but that was never confirmed. And then the robot died, and so he was sad, but that was his co-pilot, so presumably, you know, you would have some feeling towards your co-pilot dying.
That makes sense.
And then there are people saying that, oh, Han and Lando were flirting, and the closest to that was just some, like, dialogue talking about flying, which didn't feel earned. And then, you know, Lando called, I think, the robot, not that robot, but a robot, love, like, you know, British people do. And then referred to Han as baby, like black people do. So I was just like, y'all just don't know what smooth talking is.
It's just like, if you're gonna make someone pansexual or something like that in a movie, just like do it. Like, you can't, like, sometimes I feel like movie studios, they want to play both sides, where it's like, oh yeah, we like gay people, and then they'll be like, oh, don't worry, we're not going to do too much. Yeah. We don't want to make anyone who maybe is a little homophobic uncomfortable. We don't want to do anything that could hurt international, you know, profits. But LGBT community, we love you. So it's like, dude, sometimes you got to make a choice.
And so, yeah, so that was just one of their many problems. And then it was just like, there was a lot of action, but it didn't lead anywhere. And it's just like, this was just an unnecessary movie that didn't need to be made.
Yeah.
And this is also, I was telling Chris this before the podcast, this is also the first Star Wars movie that I have seen in theaters that was not full or close to full on opening weekend.
Yeah, I heard it's not doing super well in the box office.
Yeah, it was about the theater. I was in an IMAX theater, so you know it's bigger, but it was only about maybe like a half full, and there wasn't. No, I think maybe like 3 or 4 people clapped at the end. Yeah, so I think it just fell flat.
Oh, that sucks. I mean, Donald Glover will be all right.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He's having a year.
This is America.
Don't catch him slipping up.
So yeah, I mean, for me, it sounds like I shouldn't go see Solo in theaters, and I should rent it.
Yep.
That sounds about right. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. We can always talk about Comic-Con another time.
Yeah.
We met the Black Lightning cast.
Yeah, we met Black Lightning.
That was the highlight of the day.
That was the highlight of my month, so.
I got to ask a question.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, we met Cress Williams and Nefessa Williams and China Ann McClain.
Yes.
Nefessa Williams, I tagged her in the photo on Instagram, and she commented with a kiss emoji and an XO. So that's all I need. And then I replied with a lightning bolt and a black power fist and a heart. So that made my weekend. As far as what we're gonna do during the summer, it's weird. Marvel's pretty much front loaded the year with movies.
Yeah.
There's Ant-Man's next month, and then there's like nothing for the rest of the year.
Right.
But there is some cool animated stuff. Incredibles 2 is coming out. Mm-hmm. There's going to be Wreck-It Ralph 2 in the fall. I'm trying to think.
I mean, we can always do a podcast dedicated to My Hero Academia. I won't say.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing an anime theme one during the summer because most seasonal TV is off, and the woman whose podcast I was on, Lanisha, is a big anime person. So I was thinking of doing, and this is an idea. You can let us know in the comments. I was thinking of doing a podcast based around like anime, like superlatives, like favorite anime of all time. Yeah, best opening. Your favorite opening.
My Hero Academia.
Waifu or husbando.
No.
I'm kidding. But we might. But I will say. But I'll think of categories. Most anime character that can't catch a break.
Brock.
Yeah. So there we may. If I can get a guest on, we may do an anime themed podcast because we haven't talked about anime a ton, and I'd like to. And the summer there's more downtime. Obviously, Comic-Con is going to be a little. Marvel's not doing anything for Comic-Con.
Yeah, San Diego Comic-Con, so they won't be doing anything unless
I think Fox is, though. We're going to get some Dark Phoenix stuff, maybe.
Who cares?
And Aquaman. Shazam.
I'm actually looking forward to Aquaman and Shazam.
Yeah, we might get some Aquaman Shazam stuff. Hopefully they surprise me. And E3 as well.
Halo 6. Show me some Halo 6.
Trying to think of anything else that would be coming out in the summer in the future.
That, and then besides Michigan Comic-Con, but that's on my birthday, so I'd probably not be going. But also,
where is Michigan Comic-Con?
Kobo.
Oh, so they have another con during the summertime?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, no one big is really coming so far.
Yeah, I know there's one in Toledo. Yeah. So, yeah. So, we all good?
I think we're all good.
All right. So, yeah, I'm Chris.
I'm Chris.
This has been the 13th edition of the Two Black, Two Nerdy podcast. If you like this, if it's on YouTube, you can like the video and hit the subscribe button. And, yeah, until next time, we'll catch you all later.
See you.
Peace.